In this video, I'm going to be ranking the best Dark Matter cards right now in NBA 2K25 Myteam on a tier list here ranging from S that does go all the way down to D tier, and we have about 35 to 40 of the best Dark Matter cards right now in this game, especially the more recent Dark Matters as well to drop, but in my opinion these are all the best Dark Matters currently in my team. I'll be ranking them from S tier all the way down to D, and obviously you guys should expect this, but besides a couple of these Dark Matters, everybody on this list is unbelievably good at their position and some of the best cards in this game. So even if you see a card in D and C tier, I still think they can be usable. I still think they're very good cards, besides maybe a couple shorter point guards that we'll talk about here in a second. But obviously I think every card on this tier list is absolutely amazing, so I just want to clarify that before we hop into it. But yeah, first Dark Matter here is going to be Dark Matter Tim Thomas, and you guys can let me know what would you change about my tier list though. Let me know what you guys would change about my rankings, and let me know what Dark Matters you guys currently have on your squad and you guys think are your favorites. So Tim Thomas as a Dark Matter, I think has to go in the S tier category. Seriously, one of the best Dark Matters in this entire game. I think after Blake Griffin, after Chris Webber, he's the next best small forward in this game. I think he actually could be argued as a better small forward than Blake as well. He's 6'10" at small forward, 7'2" wingspan. The stats and badges are great, but the thing that makes Tim Thomas amazing is that jump shot, the Steph Curry base, Kyrie Irving upper on very quick timing. I do like this release a ton. He's got the Pro 2 fade, he's got the Booker dribble style, the Kyrie Irving size up, the Kemba escape, and I really like the Trae Young behind the back this year. I think it's one of the best moving behind the backs in this entire game. I really like it on the 100 overall Tim Duncan, and also really like it on this Tim Thomas card. So I think Tim Thomas as a Dark Matter is going to start us off pretty strong here in that S tier category. I would say Dr. J is no longer an S tier Dark Matter. I think he's still A tier. He is still one of the best shooting guards in this entire game. But personally for me, again, we gotta have some differences in these tiers. We can't have every single card in S. So like for me personally, I'm only gonna try to have like maybe the top 5 to 7-ish Dark Matters in this game. And I don't think Dr. J is currently one of the top 5 to 7 Dark Matters. He's still really elite though. He's 6'7" at the 2, 6'11" wingspan, great stats and badges. But the thing is, he's not that much different than his pink diamond card. Like there's really not too big of a difference. They have the same dribble sigs, they have pretty much the same animations across the board. Just the Dark Matter has more Hall of Fame badges, you know, maybe has some better stats as well, but besides that, very similar cards. So I don't think for that reason Dr. J can be in the S tier category. Talking about Bol Bol, not a huge fan of this card. I do think he's still probably A, just because of the fact that he is 7'3" at power forward, he has a 7'7" wingspan, and he is very glitchy in game. He's one of those cards in my team every single year that just play well and above their stats and their badges and their animations, just because of how well they do play in game and the glitchy, you know, kind of layup animations they get. They got a ton of good blocking animations and just kind of move differently on the courts. And I think Bol Bol is definitely one of those cards alongside guys like LeBron, Giannis, Wemby that we're now seeing in my team. So I do think Bol Bol, just because of how well he does play in game, is going to be in the A tier category when we're talking about the best Dark Matters. But I will say, not a huge fan of his jump shot. I do think that definitely holds the card back. Scottie Pippen, I would want to say like C or B tier. He's still great defensively, so I think you got to put him in B tier. He still can be one of the best on-ball defenders in this entire game. Does lack a lot of offense though. I think he kind of is a black hole in the offensive end besides his jump shot, which is okay. So I do think Scottie Pippen as an overall card is going to be in that B tier category. Now talking about Dark Matter Zach Edey, I think you have to put him in S. I mean, he might be the best center card in this entire game, including the 100 overall cards like Shaq, including Wemby, including Kristaps. I mean, he's 7'5" at center with a 7'10" wingspan, one of the best defenders in this entire game on the interior. And he's also quick, like 86 speed, 86 agility is not that slow for a center card, especially for somebody that's 7'5". He's got a really good jump shot. Overall, I think Zach Edey is one of the more glitchy cards in this entire game. And if we're talking about Dark Matters, I think he easily has to be in the S tier category. Now, kind of on the flip side of that, I think Chris Paul is probably one of the worst Dark Matters in this game. And do I think he's still usable? Honestly, no. I think he's probably one of the cards on this list that I don't think this card's really usable. I mean, he's a 6-foot point guard. He can barely dunk the basketball. The jump shot's not great. The dribble sigs are okay. Like the Garland dribble style is really good, but the rest of the dribble sigs are Chris Paul, and it's okay, but it's not amazing. If you like Chris Paul cards, if you're a fan of Chris Paul, use this card. If you're not, I wouldn't recommend using him for anybody's squad. Talking about the Dark Matter Kawhi Leonard, I think again he's probably an S tier. I do think he's the best Dark Matter shooting guard in this game. He's great defensively, he's got a good jump shot, and it's Kawhi. I mean, he always, again, just like Bol Bol, those type of cards, he always just plays so well in my team every single year. So I do think he's going to be an S tier Dark Matter. J-Dub is for me probably like C or B tier. I think Scottie Pippen is better, and I will say some people might think he's higher, but again, There's so many great dark matters on this list that for me personally, we gotta have some cards in C, we gotta have some cards in D. And for me personally, if I'm ranking J-Dub compared to Scottie Pippen, I think Pippen is just a taller J-Dub. Maybe you want to say J-Dub's got the better jump shot. Maybe you want to say he's got better dribble sigs, but I do think Scottie Pippen's the way better defender and also slightly better at slashing. So that one's a very close call, and a lot of these cards are definitely close to the other rankings. Like I could put J-Dub in B tier and feel totally comfortable with that, but to kind of have some diversity in these tiers, I do think J-Dub is going to be that step below Scottie Pippen in the C tier category. I would say Dark Matter Hakeem is really good. I do like him over Bol Bol at the power forward position. I like his size more. I like his weights more, having that strength and just being a better defender all the way around while having a better jump shot in my opinion as well. I do think Bol Bol is one of the more overrated cards in this game. I still think he's very good, but people overrate him and overprice him to be like one of the best cards in this game, where I think a guy like Dark Matter Hakeem is definitely a lot better at the power forward position. Austin Reeves, I think because of the defense, the lack of, I should say, I think because of the lack of the defense, I think you probably got to put him in C tier. He can still be a great offensive card. He's not that small at point guard. He's got a really good jump shot. He's got good dribble sigs. But again, we got to have some cards in these lower tiers. And I think Austin Reeves, probably one of the weaker dark matters on this entire tier list. Talking about dark matter Josh Smith, I think for me, you got to go S tier as well. I think he's close to Tim Thomas when we're talking about the best small forwards in this game because of the defense he does provide. He's got a really good jump shot. He's a great slashing card, and he gets really good animations defensively and even great slashing animations as well. Like he flies across the court on the defensive end, and I do think he's one of the best dark matters in this entire game. So I feel comfortable putting Josh Smith in that S tier category. Grant Hill, I do think is probably in C tier, but I could see B tier potentially. I think he's a very similar card to Scottie Pippen. I think he's better stats and badges wise, besides maybe the defense. He's a little bit more complete than Scottie Pippen of a card, but I think the jump shot is inconsistent at times. So I do think Grant Hill is going to be in that C tier category. Dark Matter D-Rob, this is where it gets really tough. Do you put D-Rob in S? I feel like you kind of have to put D-Rob in S, but there's so many other great dark matters on this tier list that it seems really hard to do that. But I will put D-Rob in S. He's a great power forward card. He's got a good jump shot this year, in my personal opinion. Really like his release every single year in my team. The defense on this card is ridiculous. 99 interior defense, 99 block is insane. He gets a lot of good rebounding animations. He's a big player build. I do think D-Rob is probably still an S tier dark matter. Talking about LeBron, I think sort of like Dr. J, used to be definitely S tier dark matters, you know, maybe a month ago, but as of right now, those cards have kind of dropped down the rankings, are still very good cards. It's still LeBron James. He's still a great slasher. He's still a great defender and plays above his stats and his badges and his animations just because it's LeBron. So I do think he's still an A tier dark matter, but I don't know if I could put him on the same level as a Tim Thomas or a Josh Smith at the power forward position. Danny Granger, I think is solid. I would say B tier, not as high on this card as maybe some other people. I think his movement is honestly horrible. I think the jump shot is okay at best. I don't think it's an insane release, but I do think he's a good dark matter card. I think B tier is a very fair spot for Danny Granger. Brandon Roy, I think he's on the same levels like a Dr. J. I do think he's really good offensively. He's got an insanely fast jump shot. He's got good dribble sigs. He's a good enough defender, great slasher. To me, he's kind of on that same tier as Dark Matter Dr. J, where I don't think they're S tier Dark Matters anymore, but they're definitely not in that B tier category. Talking about Dark Matter Shea, again, another guy I think you kind of have to have an A tier. Really good defensively, can score the ball at a high level, gets really good standing dunk animations. Absolutely love that Dark Matter Shea card. Jeremy Lin is actually better than you would expect, but I do think he's probably still D tier. But I will say, Jeremy Lin, very underrated card. 6'3" at point guard, 6'5" wingspan, great defender on the perimeter. The jump shot's actually good. The dribble sigs are solid. But again, he's actually a good card. Like, he's definitely better than Chris Paul 100%. But I do think we have to have some cards over him. Like, I would take Austin Reeves over Jeremy Lin at the point guard position. Kevin Durant, this might sound low for a lot of people, but I do think B tier is a fair spot for him. I think cards like LeBron, and we'll get to some other small forwards on this list, I'm sure, that I just think are slightly better than Kevin Durant at the small forward position, but I do still think he's good offensively. His jump shot can be good if you know how to use it properly, and his dribble sigs, all his offensive sigs can be used at a really high level if you're great with this card, but I do think you have to kind of have a skill to use Kevin Durant, so I do think for that reason, he's going to be in the B tier category. Talking about Dark Matter Kareem, I would say very easy S tier card. Again, same thing as D-Rob. I do think they're some of the best Dark Matter bigs in this game alongside Zach Edey. Kareem is just an absolute monster. I mean, the rebounding is off the charts. The defense is off the charts. Maybe not the highest 3-ball rating. Maybe not the best jump shot, but that Kareem card is absolutely insane. Talking about Dark Matter Lonzo, I think he's got to be on that same ranking as like a Shea. He's good defensively. He can be a great slasher offensively, and he's a great all-around point guard. Definitely for me personally, going to be an A tier. Sean Kemp, I would say is C. He's a good all-around small forward card, but doesn't really excel at anything necessarily, kind of like Grant Hill. I would definitely take Kevin Durant and Danny Granger, or even Scottie Pippen over Sean Kemp at the small forward position. Dark Matter Joel Embiid, if I'm being completely honest, I just put in the same tier as Hakeem. I think they're basically the same card at power forward. They have good player builds. They're really good defensively. I like their jump shots. But the nice thing about these two cards is they actually have good dribble sigs, and they're able to move and shot create a lot for the power forward position. So I do value that a ton with these cards, but I don't know if they're on the same ranking as like a D-Rob or a Kareem at the center and power forward position. Talking about Dark Matter Giannis, I think you still have to include him in S tier. I think because him being 6'11" at small forward is ridiculous. The size, the versatility, the wingspan, the player model at small forward. I think if you know how to use Giannis properly, he's still one of the best cards in this entire game, and he's very valuable to have at small forward. So I do think for that reason, I know we already have Josh Smith, I know we already have Tim Thomas, but I do think I'm going to include Giannis in that S tier category. Magic Johnson, I don't know if I can put an S. Again, I know I need a point guard probably if we're going to go position, but I think Magic is just that step down. He's really good though. He's 6'9" at point guard, great defensively. You can play switch all defense with him at the point guard position. He can switch on to big men and play good defense, but I do think Magic's just going to be that step below. I think he's going to be in that high A tier category. I think Gary Payton is probably also A. He's a little bit undersized, only being 6'4" a point guard, but the defense makes up for it. He's got a really good jump shot. Maybe not as good as he used to be at point guard when he first dropped, but I do think that card is still really good as an overall PG. LaMelo Ball, I would say, is B. He's kind of in that middle of like an Austin Reeves or Alonzo Ball, for example, in the C and A tier category. He's got a good jump shot. He's 6'7" at point guard, but he doesn't have great dribble sigs. So I do think for that reason, he's also not like an insanely good defender. I think he's going to be in that B tier category. Jerry Stackhouse, for me personally, I haven't had a ton of success with this card. I still think he's probably low A tier for me. He is very well rounded. He does everything at a super high level, but I just haven't had a lot of success with his jump shot. I think Brandon Ingram is actually a lot better than people will say, but I do think he's B tier just because of the lack of the defense and all around stats and badges. But he is 6'10" at shooting guard with a good jump shot. Maybe not the best dribble sigs, but I do like this card as a shooting guard better than a lot of people do say for Brandon Ingram. I got him in that B tier category. Moses Malone, I know I got hated on a little bit for my best cards tier list that I posted over the weekend. I had that card way too low in my best cards ranking. I do think he's actually very good for a power forward card. I think on this tier list, I wouldn't go any higher than B. He's not on the same levels as a Hakeem, a Bol, a Joel Embiid. I think he's that step below in the B tier category. Ron Artest, I will say, is A. He's like a worse Kawhi Leonard, but not by much. He's got a good jump shot, really good defensively. Him and Kawhi are two of the best, defending guards in this entire game. I think Ron Artest is going to be an easy A tier option. Adam Morrison, I think, is probably low A. Not great with this card, but I know a lot of people love him. He can be very good in the right hands. I think MPJ is probably C tier. An okay small forward card. He does have a decent jump shot and is a 6'10" small forward, kind of like this Sean Kemp card. Chet, I think, again, is an easy A tier option alongside guys like Hakeem, Joel Embiid, and Bol at the power forward position. Russ is actually good. I would say Russ is in C tier. I like him more than Jeremy Lin and Chris Paul. I hate Tyrese Halliburton. Gotta put him in D tier. I think that card is honestly horrible. I think Dark Matter John Wall can be good if you can get his jump shot timing down, but it is very inconsistent and a really fast release in my opinion. And then Dark Matter Terry Dishinger, even though he can't play shooting guard, I still think is an A tier Dark Matter. So we do have 7 Dark Matters in the S tier category. I think for me that's fair. Those are my top 7 Dark Matters in this game, and overall this is my Dark Matter card tier list. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would change about it. Would you swap cards down, swap cards up? Maybe let me know any rankings I have completely wrong, all the type of stuff. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.